Since the name, image, and likeness landscape launched in 2021, there's been a flurry of activity. That year, there was an estimated $917 million of annual spend on NIL products and services. This year, that number is estimated to jump to $2.5 billion. Some college athletes are getting paid millions of dollars to play their sport. With all of this increased spending on NIL deals, but with little regulation, how should we be advising these young athletes? We'll talk about that next on today's UBS Trending. Hi everyone, it's great to be here today. I'm Wale Ogunleya, Head of Sports and Entertainment at UBS. I'm joined by my colleagues and athlete and entertainer consultants, Jim Hart and Nolan Hart. Jim is a 35-year veteran on Wall Street and managing director here at UBS. He also runs one of the most successful grassroots basketball programs in the country, competing on the Nike EYBL circuit. Nolan is a financial advisor who played 4 years of college basketball at Syracuse. After graduation, he began his career on Wall Street in New York City and earned his MBA from Northwestern University. With those relatable backgrounds in sports, we're excited to have the opportunity to talk to them about the ever-changing landscape of NIL and how they're helping their athletes build solid financial foundations while pursuing their dreams on the court. Let's get started. Gentlemen, welcome to be here.
Thank you, Wale.
Yeah, great to be here. Good to be in the studio.
Well, we talked about it now, right? So it's a little bit before we got on the air here. It's been 4 years since NIL has kind of got into everybody's psyche, and it's the talk of the town. From your perspective, how has NIL changed over the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think what you've seen is sort of the market catch up with the backlog of players that didn't get paid for all those years, right? So now, starting in 2021, players started to cash in on their name, image, and likeness, which is great. There's still some things being sorted out in court settlements. I think the latest news is there's a $2.6 billion settlement that will go to past players. It kind of reminds me of when I got a check in the mail from EA Sports for being in a video game 15 years ago. Which,
so wait, you mean I got a check come in from my former career? Is that maybe, or am I too old?
We'll have to wait and see. I believe it's the only.
It might be a little old, huh?
The last 10 years is when the players will get it. So we might have just.
Fair to me, man.
Yeah, no,
but
it's.
Right, go ahead.
But there's an exciting opportunity here as athletes today. There's another part of that settlement is $21 million going to the Power Four conferences that they could spread out across their athletic department. So potentially you're looking at a settlement, money that's going to be paid to you by your athletic department, and that's not even to mention the collective money which you accept to come to the school, plus the true NIL, which is your marketing. So there's a lot of ways for athletes to win today, which creates a unique opportunity, but you have to have a plan and you have to be wise. So,
yeah, it sounds like with all of the uncertainty, because again, there's a lot of money coming at these universities, these collectives, the families, the players themselves. What should, in this time of uncertainty, what should these athletes be thinking about when they're trying to formulate what teams they should go to?
Yeah, well, just a few years ago, you didn't need to hire a financial advisor until a month before the draft. Nowadays, we're talking high school juniors, 17 years old, needing to put together a financial team this early in life. So the good news is these kids, obviously, to get in this position, they're coachable and they have discipline, right? So they had to have discipline to get in the gym, get with a trainer, work with their coaches, nutrition, sleep, all those things that got them to this position where they're about to earn money. So now we're asking them to be coachable and disciplined with their financial lives. And there's a little bit of a disconnect because it's so early on in the space. But what we have to do is, obviously utilize the talents we have to put these kids in the right financial positions to achieve these goals.
Let's keep on that topic. I know we talked about their teams. They have their coaches, they got their family members, but a lot of people in their ecosystems. But as financial advisors, how can you as a financial advisor help a student athlete that's getting NIL money?
Yeah, well, nothing great ever gets accomplished without a plan. So you've got to have a plan in place. And when you talk about these numbers, let's just assume a kid's going to get $500,000 of NIL money. Mm-hmm. Imagine what that sounds like to his friends in high school or to even his family. Mm-hmm. They think he's rich beyond means. They're spending his money for him. So what you have to do is find a way to get their minds off the dollars in the contract and back down to what do you need to live comfortably when you're a freshman in college. And that's a huge difference. $500,000 might be what you're getting paid, but you've got your dorm room paid for, your food's paid for, meals are catered, your flights, your transportation. Really, you could live on a few $1,000s a month easily. So if you can have the discipline to set that up in advance, automate it, take care of the people you need to take care of, and then stack the rest of it, great things can happen. And, there's a few examples we could show you on that if you'd like to hear.
Yeah, I would. It's so funny you say that. I remember living on campus, and I tell a lot of these younger athletes, like, a slice of pizza was all I needed, right? And maybe my game controller in my room. But why are they not sticking to the plan? And are they seeing outside that the Lamborghinis? I'm seeing University of Texas, like I think all of the linemen get like big nice Lamborghini trucks. From your standpoint, though, what are some of the examples how you can get these athletes right on track?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important to have a plan when you come in, right? So, like you mentioned, you only needed a slice of pizza. I remember at Syracuse that they covered your meals and you have your living situation taken care of. So you're not spending much money outside of an occasional maybe trip to the casino, which I don't recommend, or going to grab a piece of pizza or some clothes. So if you're setting yourself up where you're only spending a couple grand a month and you're making $500,000 for the year, you're building some good money habits before you enter the NBA. And who knows if you're going to have an NBA career, but the incredible opportunity before us, Wale, is that these players have a chance to create generational wealth if they start building good habits and have a good team around them.
Examples of that, it's, not everyone can be given the plan, but not everyone follows the plan. So I think we've seen different examples where it's worked well and other guys who get off their plan. So it's being coachable. People do listen to their coaches, but we always say when the financial people or the suits come in the room, it's an uncomfortable situation because it's new for them and they want to get back to basketball. One player, and I'll give you a pre-NIL deal and a post-NIL deal. Yeah. We had a player drafted in the first round of the NBA. He only played 2 years. Beyond that, injuries caught up with him. He wasn't able to play. He earned $3.5 million. That means he only took home about 1.7. Today, 5 years later, his net worth is over $4 million and rising. We think he's going to be worth $20 million by the time he's 40 off of 2 years NBA checks. And the reason is he was very coachable and followed the game plan. If you talk to him, probably in that first year, he said, Jim, when you came out and met with me at Summer League, you were saying this. It was in 1 year, out the other, but I trusted the plan. I just went with it. So, he had extreme discipline, not a big spender, so that's an easy success story. Right. With the NIL landscape, which is what we're here about today, we have a player entering his third year of getting north of $300,000 NIL money. So what we were able to do is convince him, you should set up a retirement plan where we can put away dollars that are going to lower your taxable income. And now with the maximums, there's certain retirement plans where you can put up to $70,000 a year away, reduce your taxable income by $70,000, and in a 4-year career, you can make 5 retirement contributions. So that means $350,000 could go in a retirement plan that he really can't touch. And guess what? I say to him, when you're 59 or 60, your 59-year-old self is going to thank that 18-year-old kid who said, I'll go with it. Let's do this plan. And that means if they screwed everything else up. So there's a lot of other ways to do it, but that's one of the main things we're trying to do with these athletes and their families as they're entering college, getting them disciplined early on.
I love the fact that we're having positive examples of NIL. If done correctly, which you've shown, this could be life-changing for a lot of these families, and if they surround themselves with the right advisors. You agree?
I agree, and I think the other part of that is just tracking their spending, right? I think if you're spending more than you're making, you're going to find yourself in some trouble down the road. With this strategy, though, you're setting yourself up so that you have a buffer if things don't go right in your middle years. So, right now we have a handful of players entering college this year that are going to be making more money than first-round NBA draft picks. Right. So you have a totally changing landscape. You're going to see guys that are could go to the NBA, stay an extra year in college to make seven figures. So I just think it's an incredible opportunity to build good habits while you're in school. Before all the distractions come in on pro day with the media and having more time on your hands and probably more people asking you for things.
Absolutely. I'm glad you talked about the schools, and that's kind of where I want to segue next. Like, what's next for the NIL landscape? Like, are the universities and the high schools, are they going to start helping out, getting in front of these young athletes and helping your message?
Yeah, I'll kick this over to Jim, but it's a professionalization of college sports, and it's even happening more at our level too on the high school EYBL side. So we have to meet the demand for education and financial literacy at that stage, because right now it's not really part of the high school and college curriculum. So we're here to work with colleges, work with agents, work with players and their families to help them get up to speed. But I think this one simple strategy of putting some money in a simple IRA for retirement is a good way to, park some assets, learn over time, and live comfortably, knowing that you have,
Do you feel that the schools have an obligation to?
They absolutely have an obligation, but big institutions are slow to move, slow to change. So unfortunately, the NIL landscape changes every month, and colleges can't change their curriculum to keep up with it. So it's kind of incumbent upon people like us to do the best we can to educate them. But I do see schools, they've got, they're already making moves. So I see universities actually doing financial literacy with these college athletes. And the great thing about UBS, and as you know, we've joined here in the past year, UBS has a true sports and entertainment program, unlike these other firms that have a in-name only sports and entertainment. And thanks to you for having that, because really for these young athletes, everything they could ever want to achieve financially can be done under one roof right here. Credit cards, debit cards, track spending, retirement accounts, legacy planning, estate planning. So we can set these kids up for the success they're going to need and provide that buffer. Like you said, if the schools aren't educating them, we have to step in and do that as well. And we need receptive audience. So we want to coach them to be coachable. And the coachable ones are the ones that are going to win.
Jim, you talked a lot about being coachable and being disciplined, but that's easier said than done. How do we get these young athletes in that direction?
Yeah, so, I've had the experience of working with countless case studies of young athletes going through their college and pro career, literally thousands of them. So, I've got hindsight working for me in that thing. Right. So I like to say to guys, when you first hit that weight room at 15, 16, you're just doing this and you don't see the changes right away, it's harder to get back in there. But once you see that first change, you want to get in the weight room. Finance is the same thing, anything like that. The first time you're saving money, you're seeing it, the low interest rate, oh, this isn't compounding the way, how is this 350 getting to 10 million? But once they see that compounding, it's almost like building muscle. They're going to want to get back in there and want to follow the plan. So it's starting that track early with them and just relating it to their coaching. You got to get your 500 shots up if you want to be a better three-point shooter. You got to get in the weight room if you don't want to get knocked off your line driving to the basket. Right. Well, you've got to make your retirement contributions. You got to live below your means, set a budget and stick to it. Right. And even when it's helping families, set that budget amount ahead of time. This is the plan for the year to the family. Right. We can revisit it next year.
I love that. Good points on that. And again, I want to thank you two for joining me today. It's really an honor to work with you as AECs. Our sports entertainment business is run by individuals that care like you two do. And I know walking into any conversation, the fact that I have you guys on our team, it's a strength for us at UBS. So again, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Wale.
And thank you for joining us for our conversation. For more information, visit ubs.com/views. UBS Trending is now on social media. Follow us on Instagram at UBS Trending for content you won't see or find anywhere else. You can also check out LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter for more. And as always, if you have any questions about your portfolio, please speak with a financial advisor. Until next time, I'm Wale Ogunlaya. Have a great day, and remember to keep your eyes on what's trending.